The creator is so good. It's a dystopian world. In the not so distant future, the US military has taken over the skies, and anything on the ground, any threat on the ground, it can take out with a laser beam in one full swoop. Robots are police and military. Humans, our likeness, our features, mannerisms, and speech can all be manufactured as robots and simulants. That's what is inhabiting the earth. John David Washington is a soldier. He watches his pregnant wife, played by Gemma Chan, he watched her die pregnant. He watched her get killed and is retired. He does not want to have any parts of the military. One day, as he's still mourning as a widower, he gets a visit from Allison Janey's character. She is a commander in the military. She solicits his help to get this robot who is more powerful than the US military. They need to confiscate it from the hands of these robots who have manufactured this bomb, really. They need to commandeer it and decommission it so that the US military maintains power over the earth. To manipulate him, because he wants no more parts of the military. To manipulate him, Allison Janney's character says that his wife is still alive and that he can go save her on this mission. So he goes on this mission with them, and his motivation is to find his wife. As he goes on this journey of trying to find his wife, he realizes that this robot may be his child. The robot is played by Madeleine Yuna Voyles, brilliantly played by her. This is her very first starring role in a film ever. But she has these human characteristics that compels Joshua, played by John David Washington, to save her from the military, who wants to decommission her again so that she doesn't have the power. Because if she develops and grows into an adult, she's going to have more power than anything and anyone on the earth. I'm not a sci-fi girl. Sci-fi isn't my thing. I'll give it a chance if I can find something humanistic about it. If I can find the human story in it, I might like it. My very first movie ever was Star Wars, and I've tried to like this movie. I don't get it. My dad loved this movie. I don't get it. That's the first movie we saw together. I don't get Star Wars. I'm not a sci-fi girl. I've liked a few over the years. This one, I like. I get this movie. There are so many nuggets of truth in this film. It's so good. This is the first movie that I've wanted to see again and again in the theaters since Across the Spider-Verse, which I saw in the theater 3 times. I am excited to see this movie, and I hope that it blows up, because I really want to talk about this movie so much. There's so many nuggets in here. There's so many good things about this film. And as far as I believe that this is one of the best films of the year, top 3 for sure. Spider-Verse, Past Lives, and this movie so far. I love this movie. As far as Oscars go, this deserves at least 8 nominations. I believe that it is in for at least 8 nominations. For Best Director, Gareth Edwards, who he directed the heck out of this movie. And he co-wrote this with Chris Weitz. They deserve a Best Original Screenplay nomination, Best Picture, Best Director, Best Supporting Actress, Best Actor, Best Hair and Makeup. Sound, I'll get into. Visually, cinematography, it's unmatched. It's beautiful. I see at least 8 for sure. The special effects are crazy. This is a good movie. Please see this movie. Support this movie. This movie is so good. You cannot miss this movie. We gotta blow this one up because it's good. John David Washington delivers his best performance yet. Now, I loved him in Ballers. I even loved him in Malcolm and Marie. But he's never gonna beat those Beckett allegations. Or Amsterdam. But he delivers here, especially in that final act. One of the final scenes, he delivers a performance I didn't know he had it in him. He is fantastic in this film. Allison Janey is a formidable antagonist in this film. It was refreshing because a lot of these villains in these films have just been, recycled. But I like her perspective as a villain in this film because her purpose is understandable. I understand why she was fighting so hard as a villain. She's fantastic in this film. Everybody is good. Ken Watanabe, he's great in this film. Gemma Chan's in this film. Now, Gemma is not in it a lot. Her role is pivotal to the plot, but she's not in it a whole lot. I love her. But everybody, this was such a good film. And it is accessible to people like me who really don't like sci-fi. Sci-fi is just not my thing. It's just not my thing. Here are a few gripes that I had with the movie that I don't think diminishes the artistic value of the film for me. This is a dystopian world. And I just feel like I have this issue, or I take issue with this very thing in a lot of these dystopian movies. In a dystopian world in the future, the vernacular that we use now, I just don't think will be used in the future. And I feel like the dialogue used, especially in the first act, the dialogue that is used is so familiar to the world we live in now. And what was said, like the colloquialisms and the jokes it just felt like this is not something that's going to survive the future. Like 50, 100 years from now, I don't think they will be speaking the way we spoke in the 90s and 2000s. And now I just feel like the language will be different. When they write like this, writing in the current moment for a dystopian world, it just feels unbalanced to me. That was one. I saw this in Dolby Cinema. There were a couple of sections, at least 3 sections in the film, where the music was too loud for the scene. The music was overpowering the scenes in 3 sections. And it wasn't so much overpowering the dialogue, because there's one scene where you weren't meant to understand the dialogue, but it was very overpowering the scene overall. And it was very noticeable to me. That was my gripe. Other than that, it's visually stunning. It's realistic. I love the laser shots. There are some jaw-dropping scenes. And then I said, that's Star Wars. It was Rogue One-ing so hard in the third act. I was like, Star Wars. That's Star Wars. I know it. Gareth Edwards must be a huge Star Wars fan, because that was straight out of Star Wars. It was a good scene too. It was really good. And maybe it was obvious on purpose. There was so much to chew on in this film about what we're dealing with now and what the future could look like. Please see this film. blow this film up. I want this film to make $1 billion, and I can see a sequel in there or prequel. I loved this world. I loved what Garrett, his vision of what this world would look like. I loved it. This is a recommendation from me. One of the best movies of the year. See The Creator in theaters on the biggest screen you can find this weekend.